system, which has found a staggering 500 children are right now living in high-risk situations. She insists.
Yes, these kids are definitely at risk. You know what they're at risk of? These teachers and doctors telling your daughter who's a tomboy, well, she must think she's a boy because she's a tomboy. And you know what they're telling your sons that are feminine? Well, you must think you're a girl because you're a bit feminine. They want to mutilate our children. That's the only thing these kids are at risk of. They're not at risk of you maybe wanting to smack your kid on the ass because your kid's gone and stolen the neighbour's car from down the road and crashed it around the corner. No. The doctors and these educators brainwashing our kids into thinking that it's okay to be put on puberty blockers. Puberty blockers will damage these kids permanently. And we all know when you cut something off downstairs, there ain't no sewing it back on.
I can't believe this happened. I ruined my life. When you break it down, I decided that I didn't want to be a woman before I had ever even experienced being a woman. I had no idea what being a woman was like because I was a child. And now I feel like I will never entirely know. I want to say that I really feel like some people in the trans community and the trans medicalists and the doctors really, really target the most vulnerable of us. I have borderline personality disorder, and I know for a fact that this is the reason for my transition. It's a very difficult mental illness, and one of the core features is not having any sense of self or identity. And my doctors knew this. I told them, even though they didn't ask, that I had been diagnosed with BPD. And it was all fine to them. I wasn't happy as a girl, so that meant I was a boy and I was trans. And so I just took the cure that was handed to me. I was told that I was being given a cure, and I wouldn't want to kill myself anymore. And it wasn't true. I didn't want to cry in this video, but this is such a hard thing to talk about. I lost a lot of things to this, and I just hope that anyone else who's going through what I went through as a young girl will not be prescribed hormones and surgery because of other things. You know, there are so many mental health disorders that make you hate your body, and the solution isn't to change your body, it's to fix your brain, you know? I just don't want anyone else to ever feel this way. I lost my voice. I lost my chest. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have kids. I feel like no one wants to date me or love me because I'm ruined.
I don't know if I'll be able to fully carry a child. And I might be at increased risk for certain cancers, namely cervical cancer. And because I do not have my breasts, I no longer have breasts. I'm not able to breastfeed whatever future children I have. That realization actually was one of the biggest things that led to me realizing that this was not the path that I should have taken.
But the point of medicine is not supposed to be to make you happy in the moment. That's not the objective of medicine. The objective of medicine is your overall wellness. It's about treating what is actually wrong. That's medicine. And so if you are struggling to accept who you were born as, what your actual biological identity is, I have all the compassion in the world for that. I mean, I can't imagine having that disconnect in my head. It has to be a source of immense despair. But what I hate is the medical professionals who, instead of helping you with that, and instead of helping you to accept who you really are and find joy and fulfillment in it, they're trying to make a quick buck. And they're selling you false promises. And they're telling you that this stuff is based on long-term studies. And they're lying to you because it's not. There have never been any reliable long-term studies on almost all of this stuff, because the fact is that the medical industry only started doing this at such a large scale recently. So they couldn't have the data. They're pretending that they do. They're lying. And that's what I hate.
There's a guy who wants to take over Dictator Dan's job. Now, he wants to bring in a law where if a man identifies as a woman, even though he hasn't had that surgery, he could follow your daughter into the change room. And we all know what can happen there. Yeah. Like, just... These fuckwits in Parliament continue to put our kids at risk. You think they give a shit if your daughter was to be raped in the toilet? They don't care. Or if your son was to be? The only thing they care about is how much money they're going to get at the end of the day. Yeah. I don't care about your kids' safety.
New South Wales Independent Alex Greenwich is gunning to introduce an equality bill to state parliament. He intends to imitate Daniel Andrews in Victoria, where the most outrageous and dangerous laws have already been passed. He wants self-identification for trans people. This means blokes can say that they are women to gain access to our change rooms and other women's spaces and services without having to undergo any medical procedures whatsoever. It means men could be in the same bathroom as little girls. It means buffy blokes in our sporting teams, and it means fellas in frocks, fully intact, claiming to be women, and we could get arrested for pointing out the fact they are male. Then we'll have to deal with violent male criminals claiming to be female so that they can get to us in prison. I'm not exaggerating. Some of these scenarios are already happening. Greenwich also wants to ban conversion therapy laws. What comes to mind when you hear the words conversion therapy? Well, activists want you to imagine electric shocks and torturous procedures to stop people being trans. Now, you and I know no one wants to do that. It's a non-issue. Conversion therapy, as a term, has been hijacked by extremists and twisted into something very sinister that can cause great harm to our children. These dangerous laws make it illegal to promote the acceptance of biological reality for struggling individuals. We don't want to convert anyone. They do. Greenwich and his activist mates want to legalise converting males to females and females to males. And they want to outlaw all opposition to their political agenda. It's not about stopping conversion therapy. This is about enabling it. They call it affirmation therapy, when in fact it is denial therapy, followed up with experimental medications that have dreadful side effects. Giving puberty blockers to children can cause sterility and result in zero sexual function as adults. What child on earth can consent to that? Cross-sex hormones can do irreversible damage to a person. A large number of people struggling with their gender identity also have autism, trauma, or other mental health issues. They should be allowed and encouraged to pursue treatment and care for those issues before taking drastic measures that permanently change their sexual function, their voice, their hair growth, and their body shape. Extremists want to stop counsellors, therapists, doctors, health practitioners, religious leaders, and even parents from helping people to embrace their biological sex. Conversion therapy laws state that the only pathway is affirmation, a term that actually means denial of reality and science. It is Orwellian doublespeak. It means the exact opposite of what they say it means. It is appropriating stereotypes to appear as the opposite sex, despite the fact a person can never change their sex. No one ever has. It's impossible. Sex is written on every single cell of your body. Without superficial costumes, name changes, or a lifelong drug dependency, it's impossible to keep up the charade of appearing as the opposite sex. In Victoria, where these laws have already passed, people who want help to accept their natal sex or to detransition are forbidden from doing so. School teachers in Victoria can even go behind parents' backs and begin transitioning children without parental knowledge or consent. The ACT has similar laws, and Tasmania is now attempting to form laws that are as extreme as Victoria. In New South Wales, Alex Greenwich wants this to be an election issue, and he intends to introduce his bill before the next state election in March 2023. And he really doesn't want you or your friends or family to know the truth. Activists want you to be ignorant, or at the very least, silent. They want to implement these laws to threaten us and intimidate us. They want to silence truth, facts, scientific evidence, and reality for the sake of their aggressive political agenda. Children deserve our protection. Women deserve sex-based rights in terms of the spaces and services they access. Greenwich & Co. want to take that all away. Will you be complicit? Or will you join the fight for common sense, scientific evidence, and biological reality? Choosing the side of child protection, parental rights, and women's sex-based rights will put you on the right side of history.